Shemi Yasha Allah Yahawah Allahayna Yahawah Kad. Hail Israel, Yahawah our power, Yahawah is one. Coming at you again with the Torah commandments, number 233 to 253. 233. And again, these Torah commandments are dealing with the court and judicial procedures, which is very important for us to understand, even while we're in the land of our captivity and exile. Okay. So I got to take care of some last minute administrative duties. Okay. Wish I had a co-host that could do these things for me while I kind of start to go a little deeper into what our topic is today. But again, you know, I'm not gonna really do a big long midrash on all of the commandments, because I want you to just get an overview, and then you can check out some of my videos on YouTube, Facebook, to get a better understanding, all right, of the Torah and of the commandments. And you really should be reading the Torah commandments, you know, really every day. That's why I'm here to help you out. I'm going to be reading the Torah commandments to you, you know, every day. If not me, then somebody from, you know, my upstream or my downstream will be doing it, all right? So this is going to be laws number 233 to 253, basically dealing with government, the court, and judicial procedures, all right? So law number 233, let's jump right into it. Yahawah B'Shem Yahushua HaMashiach Natan Lenawa Bayana Ba Tawaraka B'Shem Yahushua HaMashiach. Yahawah Nemi Yahushua HaMashiach, give us understanding of your commandments. In the name of your son, Yahawah Shia HaMashiach, Amen. So law number 233 to 253. 233 says, to judge cases of damage caused by an uncovered pit. So if a pit is uncovered, animal falls in it, the owner of that pit, the person who uncovered the pit, the person who left the pit uncovered is responsible, all right, for any damage that's done to an animal, particularly if it's in your field. Now, if it's in your field, if somebody else does it in your field, the responsibility still falls down on you, although you may be entitled to damages by the person that was in your field if they actually left it uncovered, all right? Law number 234, to judge cases of injuries caused by beasts. Another animal was injured by another beast, all right? The one animal is killed, and then the live animal is, the injured one is split between the people. Both animals actually are split. If it's a person, and it was known to cause damage to a person before, then the owner gets killed and the animal gets killed. If it's the first time the animal injured somebody, then it's particularly dealing with bovine creatures right now. But if it was the first time it was known to injure somebody, then he had to pay damages, but nobody got killed, all right, because of that. Number 235, to adjudicate cases of damage caused by trespass of cattle. So if a cattle or animal damages something in somebody else's field, the owner of that animal is responsible for paying that animal, paying for the damages that that animal has created. Law number 236 rather, to adjudicate cases of damage caused by fire. So if a fire is set in a field, the person that set the fire is responsible for the damages done. Law number 237, to adjudicate cases of damage caused by gratuitous depository. If you give somebody an animal to keep and the animal gets hurt, whether if it's by another beast, you're not responsible. If the animal is stolen, then you are responsible for that stolen animal. If the animal dies, you're not responsible. Okay. 38, to adjudicate other cases between the plaintiff and defendant. So any cases that come before the judges have to be adjudicated, according to Exodus chapter 22, verse 9. Exodus 22:9 says, for all manner of trespass, whether it be for an ox, ass, sheep, raiment, any manner of lost thing, which another challenges to be his, the cause of both parties shall come before the judges, and whom the judges shall condemn, he shall pay double unto his neighbor. So something is lost, and you say, no, it's mine, it's not yours. Double for keeping his property, for not being able to identify a distinction between your property and his property. Right now, notice it come before the judges, and the judges make the final decision. Not the camp leaders, not the soldiers in the camp, but those who are set up as judges. And that's why it's so important for you to understand the judicial and the government system of elders, judges, officers in the children of Yasharallah. And a lot of people cannot be judges because they're going to put themselves on a higher level of moral and spiritual responsibility unto Yahawah, and Yahawah don't play no games. When you sit up there in a judgment seat, you're giving judgment against people, and you yourself are guilty of things that deserve the same punishment, believe me, Yahawah has got his eye on you, and judgment shall not tarry long. Okay? Law number 239, not to curse a judge. Give me 1 second real quick. Not to curse a judge. So if there's a person that is a judge of the nation and dealing with the Alahayim as judges also, the children of Israel as judges also, okay? As Alahayim on the earth under the Most High, using the Torah to get justice, all right? If that's the case, you cannot curse or be disrespectful toward a judge. Thou shalt not revile the gods, nor curse the ruler of thy people. And that word gods there again has been known to mean judges, even though it says Alahayim in the Hebrew. But it's known to be talking about the powers on this earth, because it also goes into the rulers of the people, okay? Law number 240. The one who possesses evidence shall testify in court. Israel had a righteous judicial system. There's no reason for you to withhold evidence if you have information about the innocence or the guilt of a person. Everything was fair across the board, all right? Law number 242. Law number 241, not to testify falsely. All right, you cannot bear false witness, say you did or didn't see something when the opposite is actually true. You can't say I'm not going to testify either because I don't want to pick a side. You have to be on the side of righteousness, not on whatever side you think, is going to win, but the side of truth. If your worst enemy in the whole world is innocent of something and being accused, you got to go forward. You have to have integrity as an Israelite. You have to have integrity as a child of Yashar Allah, as a Banya Yashar Allah, or a Bawath or a Bath Yashar Allah. Okay? That a witness who has testified in a capital case shall, very important, that a transgressor shall not testify. All right? What did it say? Put not thy hand with the wicked to be an unrighteous witness. Unrighteous witness doesn't mean necessarily a person that's going to lie. Unrighteous witness is a witness coming forward that is wicked, that doesn't have a good moral standing under the Torah. So they can't come forward and then be a witness. Why? Because they are prone to sin. They are prone to lie. They have not shown themselves to be of an upstanding and law-abiding character in Yashar Allah. Law 244, that the father or children cannot receive capital punishment instead of the other. Okay? Law number 245, not to raise a false report. Don't lie in normal life and in judicial life. Don't lie. Don't raise false reports. Don't repeat something that you don't know, that you know is not true. And a lot of teachers out there are saying things about the Torah that are not true. And then years later, they find out they've been teaching people the wrong way for 30 years, and they want to keep on teaching. All right? Not to side with the wicked witness, nor hear one of the parties in a suit in the absence of the other party. So both parties have to be there for the judicial proceedings. All right? Law number 246, to examine witnesses thoroughly. Witnesses have to be examined thoroughly, and we have to make diligent inquiry. All right? You can't just say, well, this is my son, or this is my friend. I know he would never lie. Well, that's parazah. I know he would never lie about that. No, I can lie. I can have my back to the wall and lose my sense of morality. That's why everything has to be investigated. God, Yahawah forbid. So you have to investigate everything thoroughly. And that can be found in Deuteronomy chapter 13, verse 15. All right. Deuteronomy chapter 13. Actually, I think that's going to be 15, 13. Excuse me, 1 second. No, 19. Deuteronomy 19, 15. One witness shall not rise up against a man for any iniquity, or against any sin, or any sin that one sinneth. At the mouth of 2 witnesses, or at the mouth of 3 witnesses, shall the matter be established. Okay? If a false witness rise up against any man to testify against him, that which is wrong, then both the men between whom the controversy is shall stand before Yahawah, before the priests and the judges, which shall be in those days. And the judges shall make diligent inquiry, diligent inquisition. Not a good word for us to be using as the northern house of Israel, but we'll take it. Or as the southern house of Israel from the house of Judah either, because both of them were under the inquisition of the Spanish. And the judges shall make diligent inquisition. And behold, if the witness be a false witness and has testified falsely against his brother, then shall ye do unto him as he had thought to have done unto his brother. And so shalt thou put the evil away from among you. So if you testify falsely, you receive the penalty that the other person was supposed to receive if you testify falsely. And the judges have to make diligent inquiry. Law number 247, not to decide a case on the testimony of a single witness. So the testimony of 2 people is necessary to establish, which now you understand why Hamashiach sent the people out 2 by 2. His disciples went out 2 by 2. All right, so they went out in 2s. Now you have 2 witnesses always with you. So you can see the morality of this is always roll with a partner. If you ain't up to no good, if you're up to the right thing, you should always have somebody with you so you can have witnesses. Always have a witness with you, if possible. Okay. Law number 248, not to give the decision solely according to the majority, when there is a difference of opinion according to the members of the court as to matters of law. So it's not according to the majority, it's according to what can be investigated and what's right and what's wrong. Not according to voting. You see, the whole voting system, all right, doesn't necessarily go with the scriptures, because you can be voting for somebody, but there's no evidence to support that vote. So you can't just vote. You got to leave it at a stalemate or come back later. All right. Law number 248, law number 249, not to decide solely according to the view of the majority, when those who are for condemnation exceed those who are for acquittal. So in other words, you can't just say, well, everybody thinks he's innocent or everybody thinks he's guilty, so we're going to make him guilty or innocent. All right. You have to have evidence and proof. Thou shalt not follow a multitude to do evil, neither shall you speak in a cause to decline after many. You see that? To decline after many. To wrest or to twist judgment. Meaning, if you know the person is guilty or innocent, stick to your guns. You can't change the decision of your mind because everybody else. So that's why the so-called white man have these juries. The jury has to agree. So you have to agree whether the person is right or wrong. The judges have to have one consensus. The person is wrong. Here's the evidence, so on and so forth. And you can't say, well, since you all are pressing me, I'm gonna go with the judgment that you all want me to make. Or you can't follow a multitude to do evil, which is judicial and social and civil. You can't follow people that are doing the wrong thing. That's why we, as elder judges, have to spare not and tell you the lunar Sabbath is wrong. The sunrise Sabbath is not right. All right? The Sabbath, 12-hour Sabbath is wrong. Eating that Pizza Hut is a sin. All right? So we have to tell you because we can't follow after law number. So now it tells you can't go after many people. That a person who has said a person is innocent can't come back later and say, well, I think they're guilty. You have to have everything laid out and all points examined during your deliberation before the decision is made. And that's how life is in general. All right. Law number 251, to treat parties in a litigation with equal impartiality. So whether you're an elder, a Yahawah, or you a guy that's a rapist that woke up in the truth on death row. You got to treat both of them the same. You can't be partial when they have a problem that they need to bring before the judges, and that's in Leviticus 19 and 15. And it tells us, ye shall do no unrighteousness in judgment, ye shall not respect the person of the poor, nor honor the person of the mighty, but in righteousness shalt thou judge thy neighbor. So because the person is poor or rich or great in society or at the bottom of society, you can't be impartial and say, well, he's poor, so I'm going to show him favor. Or this person is rich, so I'm going to show him favor. You have to be impartial and judge it according to the facts and the evidence that come before your eyes, your ears, to understand and make a righteous decision when everything is said and done. All right? So that's law number 252. Now, law number 253, and our last law, not to favor a great or small man when trying a case, which is a reverberation or an echo of law number 252. All right, law number, law number 251. I skipped law, I'm sorry, I skipped 252. Not to render iniquitous decisions, not to give judgments that are wicked, that are iniquity. So you have to give a judgment based on the evidence and the facts that come before the court. And you have to do your children the same way. You have 2 or 3 children, you don't know who did what. You can't punish everybody. You can say, okay, nobody go in this freezer now. That's not a punishment. That's a preventative measure. But you can't say somebody went in the freezer, everybody's saying no, everybody's going to get corporal punishment. Everybody's going to get physical discipline. Everybody's going to be in a horse stance. Everybody's going to be on the wall with their arms up with canned vegetables in them or bottled water in your arms. You can't punish everybody, all right, when you don't know who's right and who's wrong. So that would be an iniquitous decision. So you have to judge righteously, or you can't give any judgment at all against the parties that would be punitive. You can only do preventative measures. Since I don't know who took my car at night, nobody touched my keys. If anybody touches my keys, it's going to be trouble. Don't go in my room. Don't go on the dresser. Don't go in the candy dish and take my keys out. You can do that, but you can't say everybody is on punishment for 2 weeks since I don't know who did the crime. You can't do that, all right? So now we go to law number 253, which is not to favor a small or great man when trying a case. Everybody's fair and equal when it comes to right and wrong and decisions that the court's going to have to make. So you can't say, well, this person is wrong because he's poor, he doesn't have a lot of money, he lives on the street. So of course he stole from the store, and not this rich man that we think is a client, is a suspect. And you can't say, well, the rich man, he's grimy, he's dirty anyway, he's low down. We know he stole it. You can't do that either. You know, you have to judge everything by its merit and by its case. And these laws are going to have to be learned and taught by a lot of Levites. Levites in East Africa, West Africa, and in Haiti and Dominican Republic. And they're going to have to be the ones to set Yahawah straight. Because they're the ones that Yahawah specifically told was responsible for teaching us judgments and teaching us laws. So the power of the unification under repentance of Yahawah lays within a large part the hands of the tribe of Yahawah, both the Levites that come from Aaron's family and the Levites that come from the other families other than Aaron. But all of these tribes of Israel have to get together and repent according to what thus saith the law of Yahawah. And if they don't, the Most High is going to destroy them. That's the only solution. The Most High is going to kill and destroy the people of Yahawah that don't repent and come back to his commandments. Okay? So those are the laws for today. Again, Torah commandments number 233 to 253 for the 12th day of the month. And tomorrow we'll be bringing them out for the 13th day of the month. Sorry for the delay today, but it's here. It's on YouTube and it's on Clubhouse under the same title. So you can look for it under each one. And there's also a link for it on my page on Facebook, a link for the YouTube, as well as a link for the Clubhouse on Facebook. So that's all for today. May Yahawah be with you all. In the name of Yahawah Hamashiach. I don't want to turn these law readings into a teaching or preaching session. I want to be concise and clear and get right to the point. It's hard to do, take some discipline, but that's what we're going to have to do. The moral of the story is be righteous and fair in your judgments. Have evidence and documentation to make the innocence or the guilt of the person and judge without partiality. Judge fairly and leave the judgment to the judges. Okay? So may Yahawah be with you all and bless you all. In the name of Yahawah Mashiach, Shalom Lekam. So now we're going to